All right.
I got your pen. So this is yours. I'm over here.
Man,
He's all messed up.
this populated.
We'll get it together.
Yeah.
Paul, can the Pacers win with a compromised Haliburton?
They absolutely can win. You know, even though he didn't have the game he wanted to have in the last game, we know that. He didn't make a field goal. But listen, if they don't turn the ball over 22 times, they're pretty much in the game. They're in the game despite Haliburton's effort because you're getting the production off the bench that can make up because this isn't a team that needs Haliburton to score 30 for them to win like it is for Shea or Jalen Williams. He just has to have a presence out there. And he didn't let his presence be felt because I've seen him win games in the playoffs where he has like 12, 13, 14 points, 10 assists. So if he can just be a presence out there and he can get exactly what he's getting from everybody because I think they played well enough on the offensive end. They shot 45%. That's good enough to win. But you can't turn the ball over. They won the shooting game. Then they won the rebound war. You know what I'm saying? These type of numbers usually add up to wins, especially when you call it a wash at the free throw line. The turnover category just can't happen. So if you're getting contributions like they've been regularly getting off the bench and Pascal Siakam has to step up, though. He has to give me what he gave me last game minus the turnovers. If I'm getting these same contributions off the bench and Rick Carlisle can make the necessary adjustments on defense to where you're not giving straight line drives, where you are trapping off the pick and roll or getting the ball out of their comfort zone, meaning Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous. And you use the home crowd for your adrenaline and momentum. Steak and shake. Let's go. Yo, season on the line. This is the last home game of the season. I need you to give me everything. I got the Pacers going down with a great fight tonight and bringing home Game 6 for we can see a Game 7.
Well done or medium rare? How you want your steak?
Listen, I need that well done, like I'm in the third grade.
And they're gonna be well done too.
Like a nice hockey puck.
Yeah, I need a third grade
Shout out
steak.
Panthers.
Pacers gonna be well done.
Can they win with a compromised Haliburton, Keith?
No, zero chance.
So it's over.
And I understand everything Paul is saying, that they don't need him to score points, but they need him to be active, out on the floor, and be himself, at least to some degree. Even if it was 12 points or 13 points, he still got to be able to dish the ball, set up the offense. He still got to be able to do all of those things. And when a star player of this caliber isn't a part of the team, everything just kind of just dies down. Because everybody feel like, oh, poor us. It ain't going to happen that way. And if he's compromised to the degree that he can't play at the level, now look, he came back in, he played 34 minutes. Didn't do anything, but he looked like he was pretty healthy to me. He seemed like he was okay running around on the floor, but zero chance, though. You got to have your best players have got to be healthy. How many times have we watched games where the star player isn't out on the floor in these type of situations and the team looks less than zero? They just look bad. And that's the situation with him. He may not have to score a lot of points, but he's got to bring the energy. He's got to set up the offense. There's certain things that he needs to do. And if he's out on the floor and he's compromised, imagine what they're going to do. They're going to set him up for failure on the offensive end. You know what I'm saying? OKC going to find him. They're going to say, find him every chance we get because he's compromised. He can't play defense right now. Let's take advantage of him. So, as Paul said the other day to me, what was it, Paul? 81% the people that won Game 4, they went on to win the series?
Yeah.
You know, it's 74% now.
Yeah.
Teams that won Game 5. Just wanted you to know that.
Yeah. No, they can't win the series with a compromised Haliburton, and I'm not even sure that they can win it with a healthy Haliburton at this stage because it feels as if he's being listed as questionable for this game. It feels as if he's been questionable every game of this series because we don't know what we're going to get. And we don't know what we're going to get from quarter to quarter. He has had some big moments. He's had some disappointing moments as well. The key, but if he is compromised, it means that he's not able to get to the paint. And his ability to get to the paint is what drives everything in terms of his effectiveness and the team's collective effectiveness. And we didn't see that in the last game, and as a result, we got what we got. And he doesn't have, this is the other part that I believe that the Oklahoma City Thunder have exposed about Tyrese Haliburton, is that he doesn't have the ability to play a game that's compromised. He has to be able to take you off the bounce to get to the paint. Jalen Brunson has the ability to use his physicality, even if he's not 100%. If he can't go by you, he can still be a factor. And we've seen that with other players. Tyrese Haliburton, at this stage of his career, at age 25, does not have that ability. So if he's not 100%, then I give them almost no chance of being able to extend the series.
I think they can. It's at home, and it's going to require a lot from everyone else. It's going to require a clean game. You can't have 23 turnovers, which lead to 32 points.
What's their lowest output in turnovers this series with them?
I think they had one game where they won the turnover
It
battle.
was 13 or something. They had like 13, right?
Yeah.
One game.
One game.
Game 3.
I mean, they had a 24 turnover game. They had a 21.
At this
11,
point,
11.
Was it 11?
It was
no, that was
15.
game 3, right?
It was game 3. But I think they can. I don't know if they can win the series, but I do think that they can extend it to 7. I do think they can. He did play. I think he's going to play tomorrow. I mean, you're in the NBA Finals. If there's any opportunity for you to get on the court, you're going to do what you need to do to get out there. Now, you're not going to be 100%, but who is at this point in the season? Obviously, he's dealing with something serious, or he wouldn't be listed as questionable right now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But I don't know that we're going to get another 40-point game from J-Dub. I'm sure he'll have another nice performance, and he has been trending up every single game of the series. But I think that if everyone plays their role perfectly and everyone gives it the right type of game, they can beat the Thunder at home. I do believe that they can, whether Haliburton is 100% healthy or not. Now, can they win 2 in a row and win the series? I don't think so. But I do think that they can extend it to 7.
Are we wishing and hoping at this point about the turnovers? Because we've had 5 games, and 4 of them there's been a turnover problem. I get the sense that it's part of who they are in how fast they have to play against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, it might be.
Combined with the Thunder's defense, that it's not...
I was going to say, I think it's more, for me, it's more the defense of the Thunder and the activity in their hands and being very active, creating those turnovers.
I think it's both. Yeah, I think it's a combination of how fast they play. And they also have been, visibly uneasy. You can see that they're not fully confident in the decisions that they're making at certain points in the game, especially when the turnovers are continuous. I mean, 4 straight turnovers in the fourth quarter in this last game.
You can't have it.
It's not necessarily that they're forced, but they look more like mental errors than just, the Thunder playing incredible defense. But the Thunder have been favored in every game in the finals and have had the best record in the West by 16 games during the regular season. After an impressive run to the finals, sweeping Memphis, knocking off Joker's Nuggets, and a gentleman's sweep of Ants Timberwolves, OKC is 1 game away from their first title in franchise history. So, Paul, would a title be the start of a dynasty for the Thunder?
It sure has the makings of one, because when I look at them being the youngest team in the league, you got a 26-year-old MVP. Is that correct? Shea is 26. Is that right, Rick?
I'll check that and get it back to you.
Yeah, I believe he's around that age. And then your second All-Star is only in his 3rd year.
26.
And Jalen Williams. And then your 3rd best player is still in his rookie contract, Chet Holmgren. And then you got the necessary young pieces in Lou Dort. You got Wiggins, veterans like Alex Caruso. Man, they certainly have the infrastructure to be really good for a really long time. And, we said these things about the Boston Celtics, but in order to have a dynasty, you have to be not only good, you have to be lucky. And luck is part of being healthy. If they can be healthy for the majority of the next probably, we're talking about a team that could be together like the next 10 years. And if we're talking about dynasty, if they can squeeze, can this team right here, as built right now, that won 68 games, if they win the championship tomorrow, they're going to be a dynasty. Because if you win 3 championships in the next 6 years, that's considered a dynasty. I believe a healthy OKC team can do it. I think we're going to be in the middle of 2 dynasties, though.
I don't feel like this
Shea is 3 weeks away from turning 27, so he's technically 26 years old at the moment.
Yeah, he's 26.
Yeah.
See, I don't, for some reason, I don't feel like this is a dynasty.
This team's been dominant, though.
Club.
This team is dominant. Like,
I
look at the numbers regular season.
I get the numbers regular season.
This is
I
a
get that they won
historical
68
team.
games.
Don't look at me for confirmation.
Because you know
I haven't
this.
gone yet,
Because
okay?
you know this.
Stop
Because I know
looking
you're
at me
not going
like
to give it to him.
you want me to nod.
You don't want to give him no
I'm not going to
props.
nod.
You don't give out no props.
I just
That's the truth.
I just don't feel like it doesn't feel
team
like a
is great.
dynasty team. It feels like if they would have got a different matchup in the postseason.
Healthy Boston Celtics?
No, not even just a healthy Boston Celtics. Even out of the West, if the
Healthy
matchup
Boston
would have been
Celtics? Who
even the
wins?
Boston Celtics, though. That's what I'm saying. They get a healthy matchup in Boston. Maybe we ain't even having this conversation if Boston would have stayed healthy and took care of business and not got spooked like they did against the
They
Knicks.
actually beat Boston twice this year.
You know, but that was in the regular season. I'm just talking about in the postseason. Or somebody in the West.
I think they
They
played
could
the
have
best.
seen.
I think Denver I don't think they were going to face anybody that was tougher than Denver. I think they took care of business when it comes
But
to
Denver,
the West.
Denver was banged up too.
They got
Remember
banged
that?
up in the final
They was banged up. I just don't. I don't know why I don't feel it like that. I understand they got the MVP and he's 27 years old here in the next couple of weeks or whatever the case is. It just doesn't feel dynasty.
I'll tell you
to me.
why. I'll tell you why.
They got
Because-
keep this in mind too. They got draft picks. They got a lot of room to get better too.
Let me know when you're done making your case.
Go ahead. Let me hear your case.
Huh?
Let me hear your case, lawyer. Lawyer Rick.
Lawyer Rick.
Counsel
This is
Rick.
why this is one reason why you're not feeling it. Because we've said this. We said this about the Denver Nuggets when they won it. We said it about the Boston Celtics when they won it.
Well, Boston Celtics is still on track though. They still on track. No,
They
they
might
on
have
track. They on track. They still on track.
Well, then it can't happen. Boston Celtics can't be on track to be a dynasty, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are on track to be a dynasty.
Only reason why I say that they on track, Rick, is because they've been to 2 finals with these same 2 guys, Brown and Tatum.
Yeah.
They've been to multiple Eastern Conference championship games. They've been in the playoffs basically every single year.
That's right.
And it felt like that if Tatum doesn't go down, they probably could have came back against the Knicks and done something.
But that's the reason why I would say the Boston Celtics missed their window, is because they've done all that. And who does it for who in the NBA in NBA history outside of the San Antonio Spurs, who never won back-to-back, and we can have that discussion in terms of being dynastic when you never won back-to-backs. We can have that debate. I don't know any other team that stayed in that realm. Maybe the Detroit Pistons for 6-7 years, but they only won 1 championship. That wasn't dynastic. But the NBA is now set up to prevent dynasties. And I'm just looking at how, look, they got 3 guys this summer, 3 key guys, Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, and Jalen Williams, who are all eligible, who are all extension eligible. And then the following year, they've got Isaiah Hartenstein, Cason Wallace, and Isaiah Joe, who are extension eligible, and SGA will be in the last year of his deal. You just get to a point where if you are winning the way that they're winning, you have to pay these guys. And it's set up that if you pay people what their market value is, then you don't have any other flexibility. They are as set up as any team could possibly be because they're so young, and this is their first trip there, and they have great depth and chemistry, and they do have those draft picks, and they have a great GM in Sam Presti, but there is work to do to keep them where they are. And the biggest thing is the NBA now has a salary cap that you're seeing it with Boston at this point. Like we're talking about, they got to move guys, not necessarily because they want to move guys, but because they can't afford to keep them.
Because they're going to have to spend $500 million.
Exactly, to do it. And that's an OKC in their market. I will guarantee you one thing. I don't know anything about what's going to happen else with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Clay Bennett is not spending $500 million to keep this team together. He ain't doing that.
Okay. No, they're not a star of a dynasty. We don't get to talk about dynasties until you win at least 2 championships.
Thank you.
They have not won 1.
Thank you. That's true.
I don't want to talk about dynasties until you are dynastic. And 1 championship alleged, because it's not finished yet, is not a dynasty make. I understand that we get excited, but we did this about the Celtics. We did this about the Nuggets. We've done this about a lot of teams. A dynasty is something that has to be earned. You can't just start talking about this. And the NBA hasn't had back-to-back championships since the Warriors in, 2017, 2018? Yeah, no. Please. You get back to the finals before we start talking about you're building a dynasty.
Thank you.
They have had an incredible season. This has been an unbelievable run. If it ends tomorrow, it will be a very impressive run. It will end in a streak of MVPs not finishing the season with championships, which I think is very important. It'll definitely cement Shea's legacy and put him at the top of the league as one of the best players in the league amongst all the other men that have won multiple MVPs because he finished the season this way, because they had such a dominant regular season. But no, we got to relax. It's too soon. Too soon. All right.
Too soon.
Every era has had a dynasty.
Yeah, and there will be
There
another
will
one.
be
There will
another
be
one.
another one. But until they start doing dynastic things, and this isn't hate. Like, this finals is not over, which I know we're all assuming is over because of Haliburton, but, like, this finals is not over. And even when it is over, if OKC wins, which I picked to happen in 7, by the way, I'm the only one who hasn't changed my pick. Just notes. They then have to go do this again.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is to do.
The infrastructure is definitely
The
there.
infrastructure is there. Yeah. If the question is, do they have the potential to eventually build
That's
into
the
a dynasty? Then yes.
Yeah.
But is this a start? I don't know until you at least get back to another finals.
And as much as I agree with you in terms of we've always, like, every decade or every era has had one.
Dynasty.
You said the last time we had back-to-backs. I mean, legitimately, the
last
Warriors
era.
were the last dynasty, right?
Yeah. Look, a few years ago.
We're looking at 7, 8 years where we haven't had repeat champions. I mean, this may be the first era.
Yeah, every era has 7, 8 years where you don't have repeat champions. Yeah.
You count or don't count San Antonio?
what?
Yeah, every era has that. Because when the Lakers did it in the early 2000s.
Don't worry about what we did.
And then, who else did it after that? The Heat.
Was the Heat a dynasty?
10 years later.
2 out of 4.
But doing back-to-back doesn't necessarily is not
I'd
the
like-
only criteria.
I feel like
or
3
necessarily a
championships.
criteria for a championship. Yeah. I think if you win 3 championships,
That's a
you are
dynasty.
I don't feel like the Heat
back-to-back
was
is
a
not a.
dynasty.
it's
No,
not
I don't
a-
either.
it's not
Yeah,
a-
I don't.
Yeah.
Paul, I don't feel like the Heat was a dynasty.
I didn't say it was a dynasty. We said back.
I
Talking about
thought you
back-to-back.
said they were dynasty.
No. Back-to-back.
Warriors were the last
Back-to-back,
dynasty.
To me,
Yeah, Warriors.
if you win 3 championships, you are a dynasty. With
But
the same core players, you're a dynasty.
Yeah.
To me.
But I'm
Yeah,
saying
you're
back-to-back
right.
happens
That's
every
about
like
right.
10 years.
Yeah, you got to have the same core of players. That's why I think Boston, if they can keep Brown and Tatum and get him back healthy, they got the opportunity to still kind of
Still build on
stay on
something.
track.
All right. This is why Key was all discombobulated at the beginning of the show. We got
They
some
messed me up, man.
breaking news here in LA just moments ago. The Buss family has reportedly entered an agreement to sell the majority ownership of the Lakers
Yes!
to Mark
In the face!
In the face!
In the face!
to Mark Walter. Walter has interests in multiple professional sports organizations, including the Dodgers and the Sparks. Jeannie Buss will reportedly continue to serve in her role as Lakers governor.
Interesting.
The Lakers have been owned by the Buss family since 1979. All right, so some pretty dramatic news for Lakers fans particularly, and anyone here in Los Angeles.
We sold the majority, now y'all want to do
Yeah, you know, but we highest price though.
What is your initial reaction to this
price of the
potential sale?
I was a little shocked for a minute, but then once I had to kind of calm down and get my bearings straight. It's cool because she still sits in the power seat. Mm-hmm. It flushes the family, as you know, Rick. The family has some family dynamics or whatever. So now everybody just became billionaires in the family. All the brothers and the sisters, they get the cash out, get the money and cash in their pocket. She stays in position. I haven't seen or read or anything, but Magic is on vacation right now, but I'm sure he got a piece of the action because it's Sparks along with the Dodgers. So he'll probably be somewhere involved in the situation. So they sold a majority share, which means that they didn't sell the entire team. So the Buss family is still involved. They just became cash flush. It's still Lakers. It's still Buss family. Things will probably be run, very similar to the way Jeannie and Dr. Buss and the rest of the Buss family have been running things for years
think so?
and putting championships. I think
I
so.
mean, selling a
Because
majority
to
me says...
She's still in the gogovernor's seat, so she's still in
I know, that's
position.
what surprises me.
She's still in position.
For how long?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet.
For 3 or 4 years, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
show
so.
them how to run the team, actually, and then step away.
That may
$10
be
billion
the
is
case.
reportedly this.
You say what, bro?
$10 billion.
I told you it was more than Boston.
Yeah, that's the richest NBA franchise.
I just want you to know that, though.
Yeah, I know that.
I needed to tell you
Not
that.
the richest. New York is.
New York is more money than who?
New York is more valuable than the Lakers.
Oh, man, come on, man.
Now
Stop
it
that.
is. It wasn't before.
How? Who said that? Where's that at?
It's always listed as number
no,
one.
man, no.
It ain't until
Can't be.
The most valuable?
Can't be. Ain't won nothing. What they value in the real estate?
It's the value has nothing to do with winning.
Okay.
It's the
Forbes has
market.
Warriors and the Knicks ahead of the Lakers.
Boo.
Okay. Rick, what is your reaction to this news?
I'm shocked, one, just because we didn't necessarily see it coming. And there was a little bit of rumor in terms of her bouncing out, right? I think the most surprising part for me, well, I guess the most shocking part is I've always connected the Buss family with the Lakers for my entire life.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
And the idea that even though she's still going to be involved, not having a majority interest, having somebody else who's going to have a voice in that franchise is brand new. And I also find the timing sort of interesting. You know, at a point where you have to make a really difficult decision on LeBron James.
What's the difficult decision?
Just the exit, how you're going to say goodbye, when you're going to say goodbye. Does he want another year? What you do with... It's just an interesting dynamic there. And that's where, is Jeannie going to have full voice on how they handle that?
I mean, if she's sitting in the main seat, I would think that she's
the representative to the league as the governor. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's the one
controlling rights,
making final
interests.
decision on what happens with the franchise.
Paul, what's your reaction to that news?
I think we're starting to see just a new era of ownership in basketball because I'm seeing the Dallas Mavericks get a new owner.
Yep.
Boston Celtics, new owner. Now the Lakers, I mean, the value of the franchise is definitely up around the board. And I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing more and more franchises because you got to think about it. A lot of these franchises was bought like 30 plus years ago. And I remember when Wick Grossbeck bought the team in the early 2000s, they bought the Celtics for like $380 million. And recently, 300, you hear that number?
We should have gapped that up. We should have all put something in.
Yeah.
$380 million and recently sold majority for $6 billion for the Celtics. And so I wonder how that's going to change. The thing I do wonder is, like, whoever the new owner is going to be, are they actually fans of the team? Are they businessmen? Are they tech people? Like, all these things really do matter when you run a franchise. It's because the Buss family were true fans of the Lakers and wanted them to succeed. Whereas you get a new owner that can come in and run it like a business.
No, I think
you know what I'm saying?
I think he's a fan of the Lakers because he's a part owner of the Dodgers, piece of the Sparks. Other sports franchises and stuff like that. He's partners with Magic. So I think he's probably a fan of the Lakers.
That's important, though.
No, extremely important.
The interesting part is that we're seeing this valuation, right? You mentioned from 360-some million to $6 billion. Are owners seeing the valuation of franchises hitting a peak now? Where it's like it costs, like, I might as well cash out now because I don't know how much better it's going to get, and the cost of doing business continues.
Well, the cost continues to go up because there's more demanded from these franchises across the board when you're talking about recovery and travel, the amount of staff that you have, the amount of branding that you're doing. You have a social media team now. Like, there's so much more that goes into running an organization and so many more people that you have to pay than you did 30 years ago. The Forbes valuation for the Warriors was at 8.8. The Knicks was 7.5, and the Lakers were valuated at 7.1. So they've sold for much more.
So the Warriors were valued higher than the Knicks.
Yes.
First time. That's amazing.
It's the Bay Area, the real estate.
Dude, I live in the Bay Area. I know that.
I mean, the real estate.
It's tech.
If there's a real estate association with it, I don't know what the ownership group has to do with the building.
It's not only the building, but it's that entire area. It's a lot like LA Live.
Yeah, they build.
Like, they have all the restaurants
a lot
and all
of it is
that
always real
built
estate
around it.
So the real estate changes the valuation.
And then when you talk about
And Madison Square Garden doesn't have that.
when you talk about
It's
these
just
owners and stuff selling, it's typically owners that's been in that business for a long period of time. So now you're dealing with estate taxes. You're dealing with all of that. As you get older, you start thinking about, okay, well, what do I do from an estate standpoint? So they start selling off a lot of it so they don't have to deal with that down the line later on.
To Paul's point, though, it is interesting where a lot of these wealthy people are putting their money when it comes to sports because, as we know, sports and news are really the last things that we watch live. So the money just continues to go up, people wanting to attend things live. is a big demand. Sports is exploding as an overall product. We're even seeing this obviously pour over into women's sports as well.
Yep.
So everything is rising when it comes to this product overall, wherever it is that you put your money in ownership and whatever specific sport it is. So this isn't terribly surprising that people are selling right now, because it does feel like a good time if you are thinking about getting out of the business or partially out of the business, because obviously it seems like they still have some ownership in the team. But this is a bit of a changeover, because to Paul's point, to your point about the Buss family, like, this was a family-owned business. It'll be interesting to see what the Cowboys eventually do. Like,
and Minnesota too just sold.
Yeah,
Yep.
so these are like it's a real changeover. So are they running it like a business? How does that affect players? How does that affect fans? There's a lot of nostalgia associated with owners that have been there for 30+ years. And there's people in the building that are there because they were friends with the owner, but they had the job because of that. You know, like, there's all these different nuances within the buildings that change whenever you have an new ownership group that comes in. So really interesting. We'll see how it plays out. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.